Hello and welcome to another action figure review. Sorry for the absence. I have been very busy with school and college, but nonetheless, the show must go on. Today, we're going to be reviewing the new Marvel Legends No Way Home Green Goblin. I've had this guy for a little bit now. I've been wanting to review him for this channel. It's just been very busy lately with school, work, life stuff, holidays. You all know the thing. Anyway, so how about we dive into it? I don't think he necessarily needs any introduction. We all kind of know the Green Goblin storyline already, you know. Genius, million billionaire Norman Osborn takes the Goblin serum, goes crazy, tries to kill Spider-Man, figures out who Spider-Man is. We all know the drill. Truthfully, does not really need any backstory behind this aside from maybe the design. I mean, his design is definitely unique in a sort of way, and I don't necessarily think that you could really use him specifically for a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man display. But nonetheless, let's get right into the action figure.
Coward, we have a new world to conquer. So, this is all the accessories that come with the Legends of Green Goblin here. It's pretty self-explanatory. I didn't put the pumpkin bomb on the display base because I thought that it would just fall off. And please excuse me, guys. I'm going through a cold right now, or post-nasal drip or something like that. But let's take a closer. Let's see if the camera can focus. Yep, there we go. Not too many details in the pumpkin bomb, honestly. It's pretty just standard. I mean, you do get to see some of the little rivets in there and stuff like that. The camera again isn't there. You can kind of see like those lines and stuff like that with the pumpkin bomb. Small details again, not really many details in the pumpkin bomb because it's so tiny, and I guess they can't really do too much with it, but I digress. Just flat green, flat orange. Let's put that right there. Hopefully, it doesn't go away. Um, this is the glider that he comes with, a big old glider. Oh, it can articulate. Okay. Um, I thought it could, but I mean, you know, you, I at first it wasn't popping up, so I was like concerned. But you know, pretty okay. Some detail here with the hexagon patterns within the plates, the purple plates themselves, and then just a flat gunmetal gray for the rest of it. And then these are to hold his feet or boots in place. So let's see. Are they? Yeah. Okay. So they are oriented from left foot and right foot. Let's try to put this in here. That's a little difficult, but that's okay. Um, let's try to put the other one in. There we go. So we have it. We have pretty much the glider all set now. There are hinges both up top with the feet and on the bottom with the lower half of the glider itself. Not really any details aside from missiles and other stuff like that. I mean like paint details and stuff like that. There's not really any paint going on the bottom. Oh, there is a small little, you can't really see it on the camera, but within these little vents on the bottom, there's a little bit of green. There probably to show that it's on or something like that. Then it comes with this little flight stand. It's just a simple. Let's try to put it in. I'm not gonna try putting it on right now on camera. And then yeah, I guess it's an alternate head sculpt with the Green Goblin mask. This looks fucking amazing, dude. You don't get any of the mouth in the mouth. You don't really get any like special effect where it's like it looks like his mouth is in there or anything like that. But this thing looks amazing. Um, a lot of people hate marbling, but I don't mind marbling. You get a little bit of marbling up top here on his head. I think marbling for certain figures and characters and stuff like that can work. This being one of them, where it just kind of adds like a bit of extra detail or wear and tear or something like that, as it's supposed to. The gold in the eyes is really pretty. I love it. Not many shadowing effects. Oh, that's another thing. Marbling could also create the illusion of some shadowing effects, you know? That's why I like marbling. Oh, pretty simple, standard stuff. Let's move on to the action figure itself now, huh? But before we get into the action figure, I'd like to take a look at some glider comparisons between the new Hasbro Green Goblin glider and the old Toy Biz glider. So there's a few differences here. For one, just the design of the gliders themselves. This has a lot more plating with the purple. It still has that hexagon pattern and still some flat grays going on. This one also has a lot less of that purple hexagon thing going on, or the purple plates, I should say. And also, there's a detail in this where you can see the pumpkin bombs right in the. There's a detail in the old Toy Biz glider where you could see the pumpkin bombs. You can even rotate them. I mean, it's annoying sometimes to display and stuff like that because like they're not all um even with each other, but like this one has none of that. I mean, I I guess because this looks like it's kind of concealed, but I just feel like that's lazy. And this one also just has more detail in the bombs themselves. I mean, long gone are the days of the old Toy Biz details and stuff like that. I really do miss those, but whatever. I mean, we still get higher. I think that we get better articulated and better designed figures than Toy Biz, but I digress. You could tell that this design right here is more of a thicker design than this one. As you can tell with these little boosters. I haven't even seen the green before on the thing, but there's some variation here within the paint or the plastic itself where the boosters look like that it's a lighter gray. Then for the missiles it's black or like a darker gray. And then for this thing right here, I think that's probably like an anti-gravity thing. It's or I'm sorry, it's a brighter gray. So missiles dark gray to black, boosters lighter gray, and then extremely light gray, almost white. Look right there. For the it's just different designs. You know, I don't necessarily understand why they're so different. When it should be the same character from same timeline movie ish. Uh, but I digress. So let's take a look at let's compare for the Hobgoblin for the Venom Space Knight wave. Very obviously it's comic book, so it's gonna be a lot different, and just it's a lot smaller. I think that was a lot of complaints that people had, me included, that it was very small. I mean, I was happy to get the Hobgoblin, but look how small that is. Terrible. Let's take a look at the Green Goblin. I think this one came with the either the comic book Hobgoblin from, I mean, Green Goblin from the Sandman wave, or it was the retro carded Green Goblin. I can't remember. Anyway, let's look at that size comparison here. A lot smaller, but it's you know, it's comic book. It's not supposed to be huge and gigantic like this one. All right, now let's move on to the action figure. The Heart Osborn. First, we attack his heart. So here is Norman Osborn. Now, finally we're getting to the action figure itself, and as the minimal time that I've had with him, I have to say that my version is a little bit stiff on the joints and stuff like that to get him in this pose. But other than that, I think he looks amazing. You can remove. I'll remove his hood and goggles in a second to reveal it, but I think just aesthetic wise, just wow, this figure is great. Amazing, amazing work here. It's not complete. The first Spider-Man trilogy. Green Goblin, as we've seen in No Way Home and stuff like that. You know, he has some wires sticking out and stuff, so he won't exactly fit within that specific collection if you're having one. But I mean, either way, for like an MCU villain shelf or like a No Way Home shelf or something like that, he would work perfectly. Oh my god, he is such a great action figure. Um, shall we go into his articulation? I think we should. Let's turn off the display base right here and let's stand him up straight. I gotta admit, guys, he's kind of a pain in the at the tuchus to get him to stand up straight, but nonetheless, there he is standing up straight right now. I'll also do a little bit of a segment without his hood in a second with the articulation because I do feel like that the hood definitely hinders the articulation a little bit. But let's get into his articulation real quick. Head can't really look up that well. Actually, yeah, it can look up pretty well. It doesn't feel like it can, but it can, especially when the diaphragm joint helps him out a little bit. Can look up, can look down some a little bit. Oy, arms can stretch out that much. Bend down all the way, full 360. Hinge at the hinge at the shoulder. Double jointed elbows. Again, I told you guys before that my thing is very a little bit stiff, so I'm gonna have to run them under some heat. So double jointed hands. Hinge at the wrist, of course. Standard Hasbro. Oof. These spikes here are really flimsy. I mean, I guess they should be because of how the articulation is set up, but you don't want to break them, of course. Oh, this thing is so stiff. But you can bend it like that, like that, like that. You just get, and same thing on the other hand too with the pumpkin holding hand. I'll put his pumpkin in a second. Same thing with the other side. Bend out that much inside. Swivel. Double jointed elbows. You got a diaphragm joint that can move him all around, side to side, up and down, turn around. No, yeah, no waist cut, so he can't swivel at the waist. legs could legs could stretch out that far. Does he have drop down? Yeah, he has drop down legs. That's definitely gonna help with posing on his glider. I haven't posed him on his glider just yet, but we'll get to that in a little bit. He has drop down hips, swivel at the mid thigh, not mid thigh, upper thigh cut where he could swivel. Double jointed legs again. My finger's very stiff. Double jointed legs. Almost do like the crane pose. You get a wonderful ankle pivot right here with a hinge. With a hinge. It moves up and down. Going into detail on this action figure because I feel like I neglected to do that a little bit. Um, Amazing. I mean, just great detail all around. I mean, using a mix of just kind of flatter colors, but they all kind of like mesh together to really bring this guy to life. I think when you're gonna see the detail, it's gonna be within the mechanical parts that are kind of like messed up. Like right here, there's a little bit of that little, if the camera could focus, there's a little bit of the under armor, that's ripped from the battle damage, or just the universe hopping and stuff like that. But you could see, ooh, even like tiny missiles right here. They have a little bit of gold on here wrapped around that flat gray. So the flat colors kind of do come together to really make this guy pop, but they're all under a metallic sheen with the uh with the paint that they're using. And I think sometimes like the small details within the figure make the uh the the shadows and light do the work for you. Like on this right here, this satchel that he has, where there's tiny little rivets and stuff like that. and they kind of make and the folds that are within the satchel, they both bring out a light and a darkness to them, and they cast shadows, and it does the work for you where you don't necessarily have to do the paint um for you. But yeah, great amount of detail. Flat colors though, and I think it's more evident on the back of this hoodie right here. So I took off the hoodie and I just put on the Willem Dafoe head now, and I think this thing looks freaking amazing, guys. Like, look, that looks. I saw product images and I saw some pictures on Instagram of this uh head sculpt, and I was like, I just was not impressed. Like, I didn't think it looked that good, especially for the product images. But wow, this head sculpt looks really great. Way better than like the official release of the bad Bandai head sculpt. They were lacking, but that's a different story. Really great look for him. I mean, again, it's doing that thing that I just said before, where it's letting the details of the sculpt do the work for you with shadows and stuff like that. Now you can There is some paint variation of paint details within the lips and the teeth, but for the most part, it's just a flat skin tone with some um, you know, details in the eyes, mouths, stuff like that. But the folds in his face and the wrinkles and stuff like that are doing the shadow work for you and stuff like that. There's some paint I think there's paint in it, some paint variation in his head. I can't really and his hair, I mean, I can't really tell though. But let's see this without let's put the regular Goblin head on this body. Gotta be honest, when I was in the movie theater, I was a little disappointed that he wasn't wearing the mask, but now I kind of see why. This looks really goofy. I'm not sure if it's just because it's an action figure form or something like that, but I don't think he looks that great with it. Specifically on this body, but I mean, if he could work on just a standard, and I do feel like that Hasbro will make like a standard Spider-Man 1 throwback action figure. But I think that put I I think the Norman Osborn head just looks better. I don't know if I'm gonna have him with the goggles on, but in my collection, it's just gonna be the Norman head. Here are some quick comparisons for the Green Goblin. We have the Toy Biz 2001 2002 Green Goblin, and the 3-pack Legends Spider-Man that came from the No Way Home set, and we have a Master Chief right here just for a quick size comparison, just because he's green. Um, I think he scales perfectly with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man right here. And by the way, this is a custom head. This is not the head that came with that No Way Home action figure, or any really the No Way Home action figures that came with, because this is from like the 2007 Spider-Man 3 movie, and I will be linking whoever made that head sculpt in the description below. So please reach out to that person and see if he can get you or make you one of these heads, because I really think that these are top quality heads that he discovered. Shout out to my man Muhammad. And there goes the action figure. Um so yeah, let's look right here now between the two goblins. This one had a removable mask. If I could do this without breaking the action figure, that'd be awesome. All right, there we go. All right, contrary to popular belief, I don't think that the Toy Biz one is as bad as people say. Is it great? No, not really. But I think capturing the essence of Willem Dafoe, I think it did a pretty okay job. I think obviously the Hasbro one is better in various different ways, but I don't think for like 2003, 2002, whenever this came out, I don't think this was necessarily that bad. Now the Mary Jane action figure, that was terrible. Terrible, terrible action figure. I don't have it, but just bad altogether. Um, so yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that he holds this pumpkin bomb really nicely in his hand. Like that will not come out no matter what. I had a tough time even trying to like move the green to go on top, but yeah. Also, my dumbass did this wrong. The peg should go to the end. So peg facing the back instead of the front. So this is how the Green Goblin looks on his glider. He looks really sweet. Now it's kind of tricky playing around with him on the glider itself, but it will participate with you and it will help you out. But yeah, it's just very strange to get used to, especially when you're used to like that old Toy Biz Green Goblin self. I think this is probably how I'm gonna have him displayed with my villains, which I'll show you guys in a second. So going into my MCU villain display here by Green Goblin with them, I think he's going to fit in very nicely with all of them. I already have a Spider-Man villain with Mysterio there, and I think he'll fit in very nicely. Now, the thing that I like to do right now is the market value. Now, what do I think the market value is going to be on this guy? With MCU figures, I can't really tell. I think this guy could potentially rise in stock. I definitely think that Doctor Octopus will also rise a lot in stock. From the Spider-Man 2. Um, but this guy, it's hard to tell with some MCU figures because there are various different variables that can change the outcome of what um can affect the market value of it, but I think he's either going to remain stagnant or he will increase in value. But that's my review. Thank you. Please like and subscribe so you can see some more when I decide to upload them. All right, have a good one.